Hello, everyone, and thank you for showing up today for us and for yourselves. Working life is really tough at the minute, whether that be working from home or in the office. And sometimes you're so wrapped up in it all that you forget to take care of yourself. And we want to help you slow things down and make it all a wee bit more manageable. So Red Eye and the Photo Collections Network came together to create a series of wellbeing workshops, which we hope will equip you with the tools to access your own self-care throughout your day. So feel free to have your cameras on or off. Just let you know we will be recording this event. There will be 15 minutes at the end where we can catch up and have a chat. It'll be an open space where we won't be being recorded. Captions can be added by hitting the live transcript button on the bottom of your Zoom window, and they can also be turned off if you find them a wee bit distracting. If you do need anything else, please use the chat or direct message me. Today we have Sam Batley, who is an award-winning writer, poet, and artist based in Liverpool. Sam has worked with Open Eye Gallery and Dead Pigeon Gallery, which showcased photographic work produced by residents of Damien John Kelly House and was awarded the Liverpool City Region Impact Award for Health and Wellbeing. Sam continues to develop his own work as a socially engaged photographer, having recently been commissioned as an artist in residence at the Watch Factory, an assisted living centre in Prescott, where he developed his collaborative practice with residents. Throughout his artwork, photography, and writing, Sam reflects on identity and self, tracing the marks left by the characters he has encountered in his life. He takes inspiration from life's dualities, from isolation and loss of purpose to the joy and interconnectedness of community, which he has found in recovery. So without further ado, over to you, Sam.
Hey guys, yeah, thank you for signing up. Thank you for joining, and thanks to Red Eye for putting together like a lovely responsive thing for just for mindfulness, I suppose, and to find that bit of space in day for yourself. Nice one for Rebecca for getting on us and sorting it out. So I'll just that's been that introduction's sound. So I'll just give you a little bit more of an introduction in regard of my own writing and the process that we're going to do today, which helps with this mindfulness. But it's also a dead handy tool, if you are getting into writing, and it provides a starting point sometimes. I think sometimes when you're writing, it's quite difficult to maybe get yourself into a mindset. There can be some blocks there, and that in itself can be quite anxiety provoking, that you're kind of giving yourself a rod to beat yourself because you're I can't write, I can't get into flow. So other thing that's worth mentioning as well is I do photography and I write and I do all different kinds of creative stuff, and I'm a big believer that none of that's separate. It all comes from the same place. Sometimes ideas are better off being executed through writing or through a painting or through photos. And I suppose what these things can do is how they interlink with each other, how they entwine, how photos and writing can go together, and how through writing that can inspire you photography, or how through photography that can inspire you writing. Both of which are very mindful processes. So the exercise today, as you've seen, is automatic writing. I got onto automatic writing a few years ago, before I came into recovery. Before I even really knew about automatic writing, I just as a young'un, I just used to write very fast anyway. At school, I had to see a lady, and she used to say that I wrote 3 words in front of where I was supposed to be writing, and sometimes it got all jumbled up. And again, that stopped me from writing. Did that because I felt I weren't doing it right, but that was just my style. So it's really important to be mindful of the fact that there ain't no good or bad in this. There's no it is literally just expression. So the idea of automatic writing is that we're it's the subconscious part of the brain, I suppose. If I were to sit down and think, right, I'm going to write a story, I'm going to start, I'm going to have a beginning and a middle and an end. Sometimes it can be quite formulaic in that form. Automatic writing in like that. It can be anything. It's whatever comes up. So with that, it's interesting to like write it and sometimes to come back to it. Like I said there earlier about this kind of being as like a jumping off point for ideas, because sometimes when you're writing, stuff comes out and you're like, whoa, where does that come from? And again, it's nice to just like find time for yourself in day. If you've had a stressful day at work, you know, or you're feeling anxious, or you might be a bit stressed out, it's a good release, is this, to just sit down with yourself and think, hey, I'm just going to write this, whatever comes out, and like not to like attach judgment to that. The process itself can feel a little bit uncomfortable, because you're like in a fashion like handing over to yourself. Sometimes you'll get to a point and you'll be like, oh, I don't know what to write. Oh, no, it's coming. Even if that comes, just write. I don't know what to write. So the aim is, once you start writing, you can't stop. You just got to keep going. Yeah. So in a couple of moments, we're going to like get onto that. And I think what we'll do is we'll do it for 3 minutes, if you feel comfortable doing that. And if anybody wants to share after, they can share what they write. So when I've done this workshop in past, I kind of started doing it more so with like the project of doing Damien John Kelly House, which is like a recovery and living centre for men. And we like employ like recovery values in a creative setting. And again, it's really important to emphasize this idea that doing no good or bad. It's just having a go, expressing and seeing what comes out, really. And just like approaching it like in a playful manner. So I think what these like mindful tools that like I use in my own practice, it is that it's playful, you know. And if we do that kind of stuff, it kind of allows us to have like it's all that stuff about being kind to yourself, I suppose. It ties into that kind of thread. So if you want to get your pens and your paper ready, if you feel like you're okay to have a bash, I'm gonna start in a couple of moments. So like I said, once I say go, just keep writing. Try your best not to stop. If it's daft stuff that comes out, that's sound. If you're just listing what you're doing in your day, that's also sound. The thing is just to have a go. That's the only thing. When I say start, keep going. Does everybody feel all right with that? Yeah. Okay. So pens at the ready. 1, 2, 3. Have a go. Go on. Keep going, guys. We've got 1 more minute. Keep going, guys. That's brilliant. And if you can, get into a point where you'll be stopping. If you can finish this line, and then we rate. How did we find that? Can I have a little share if anybody wants to just say a couple of words about how the found process before reading it.
My hand hurts. I'm not used to writing that much.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, my hand hurts. I'm so used to typing and not just writing normal. But yeah, it was good. It flowed.
Brilliant. I once did this exercise with a lad, and when it come to like reading it out, that's what the lad had said. It says, "My hand hurts." My hand hurts. He'd written that in. So if people are comfortable to share, I'll share. I've had a little scribble myself, so I'll share what I've written, and then if anybody wants to share, we've got like 10 minutes to one side where we can share that. So this is what fell out of my head. I thought I saw you on the bus, but didn't. I was too busy on the FaceTime to see. My handwriting's really bad still. I was too busy on the FaceTime to my auntie, showing me the terrier's new jacket. We laughed together. The summer sun obscured the screen, but I knew all was well in the world. I like to close my eyes in this weather and feel my eyelids go orange for a bit, dead warm like. If peace was tangible, it would be warm eyes in a bus stop and a terrier in a jacket and an auntie too close to the selfie camera. So God knows where that's come from. It's come from somewhere. I might explore that a bit. That's what I love about it. Stuff comes up. So if anybody else wants to share, feel free.
I'll share. Yay.
Go on.
Okay, so my wings are on fire and I am in a profound frenzy. The universe is fucking mine, within and without. I am eternal rising, and my body is a free rail, a running map, a vista of rearticulations, a convoluted force of nature, a reek of stardust and light. I'm tending to my inner space. I dance on the wash of light and feel the bliss of Satori and Saturn. I am a blue vista, a supernatural being. I'm bathed in a double helix, a house tetrahedron, a quadrant of white light shooting through me into my cunt. I am in a deep bliss. I feel into my own sweetheart and I expand. I move out of any limits into the stratosphere. I exhale, I inhale the fucking cosmos. I see the inside, outside, the outside, inside. I am unfurled and unfucked.
Fucking. Oh, thank you for sharing that.
You're all right.
Brilliant stuff. Anybody else?
That's a bit hard to follow, really.
I was going to say I don't want to share mine, but I feel like people have been really poetic, and I just wrote down all the stuff I'm worried about. It's just a big list of all the stuff that's stressing me out.
That's absolutely fine. As I say, like, if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do, and like that's why this is helpful, because one day you might do it and it might be that, it might be your stresses, it might be what your anxieties are, or like, and then other times it can be quite like affirming, or the process is the same but the products are sometimes different. It's just about that switching off for a bit and just letting it come out. And I find with that, when life does get a bit stressful, that this comes in handy, because you're just letting it flow out here. So well in for your honesty and sharing that. There's no wrong with that.
Do you think knowing, and one thing I wrote was, do you think knowing that you're going to possibly share this affects what you write? No, if you're just writing it for yourself.
For sure. I think that does come into play. I think we like doing this as a workshop. It's kind of being inclusive of it, and this is for somewhere where if you want to do it, or you are wanting to do it in your own time, and you want to like have a play with it. As I say, it's 3 minutes out your day. You can do it before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. And that's stuff that you don't have to necessarily share. There might be bits that you do want to share. It's just that it's about that switching off, I suppose. But for sure, I think that definitely could come into it. Would anybody else like to share or share some thoughts around how they found it?
I think I found it quite difficult initially to get into it and stop actually thinking about what I was writing. But I think by the second or third minute, I kind of looked back at what I was writing. I was like, oh, I was away with the fire. Like I completely didn't realize that I was even writing that. So I think it's a nice amount of time, 3 minutes, to break into the flow.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, it can be a quick way into that, like into that flow, or like a quick way into like, I think sometimes when, like, for me personally, like if I get into kind of a negative like pattern of thought, or like my anxiety is particularly bad, I can't think my way out of feeling like that. I can't think my way out of being anxious, or I can't think my way out of being in a negative process. So exercises like this, I find, is a really good breaker for that. And usually when I break that pattern of thought, it can lead into something like flow, or it can take me away from like a spiral. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's dead handy for that creatively, but it's also dead handy in a mindfulness sense, to just as like a circuit breaker. Do you know what I mean? Nice one, Rebecca. Anybody else? Okay. If you do want to like share later on, that's absolutely sound. I'll be knocking about for 15 minutes when we're done. So I got a couple of other things that I like to do. I know what I wanted to share with you, with this whole idea about being mindful and like bringing your son round, I suppose. And one of them is something that like I repeat quite often, and that's just dead simple. It's just a gratitude list. It's just having a little bit of a moment. I mean, I can do it in my head. But sometimes it's quite nice to like, again, it's back to that like positive affirmation. Because when we do, like when we're on one, and I've done it myself recently, I've kind of like overfunctioned a bit, and I might have like burnt myself out. And when that's happening, and you've got loads of stuff going on, and you're here, there, and you've got to get this email sent, and then you've got to get on this meeting, and then you've got to meet so and so at 4, and then you're meeting so and so for your tea. Like when you get into that loop, it's difficult to like remember your sen. So again, with this, it's just like, so I'm just reading your message on there. It's right. So again, it's that when your mind's like on it and you're very productive. I think for me personally, I can forget me sending that. And sometimes when I forget me send, that's when stuff I can like lose gratitude. And doing a gratitude list is a sure way to remind me of what I'm doing and what I'm grateful for and what I'm thankful for. And I'll grant, like, to be honest, like how lucky I am. So we can do that to finish. And if people feel comfortable again sharing that, we can do that. I think it's always a nice way of like rounding off a group. So we're just going to take a couple of minutes to do that. Can be as long or short as you want, in whatever form. So we can start whenever you're ready to. Okay, and if we feel all right, we can just start rounding that off there. I think it's lovely is that when you just stop for a minute and just like have a little reflection on, and it can be, you know, sometimes it like it can change equally as much as that other process that we've just done changes, and like sometimes it'll be big stuff, sometimes it'll be very little stuff, you know. So same again, if anybody wants to share a couple of things that they're feeling grateful for today, let's hear them.
I'll go for it, if that's all right.
Go on.
I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to take over, but I just love reading and I love writing. So, right, you ready?
Go on.
Tar for the stars, tar for my daughter, tar for the life of floodlight and water, tar for the guru working my bones, tar for my vagina, the place I call home, tar for the body filled with sensation, tar for the night and my bed of elation, tar for the garden and tar for the foxes, tar for the riches that fill up my pockets, tar for my eyes that have seen everything, tar for the magic that life can bring, tar for the teachings of those who are dead, and tar that I am at last in my head.
It's last. Belter.
Yay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
I'll do mine. It was nowhere near as poetic as that. It was brilliant. It's just, having one sun beaming in through my top window, a home that I very nearly own, having safe shelter, having people who think of me and show me kindness, having a cooling fan underneath my chin when the savvy to have gone out and bought it, and there's food waiting for me downstairs in the fridge.
Brilliant. Thank you, Stuart.
There's a couple of comments in the chat about having quite logical lists, but please do share them as well. I think they're just as beautiful and interesting.
Of course.
I don't mind sharing mine. It's probably quite boring, but I'm grateful for friends who are there and want to see me and enjoy my company. 2 children who are turning into fairly likable human beings, most of the time. Supportive family, beautiful home I've worked hard for. 3 jobs that I love. Creative, crazy community, a bonkers cat and a tortoise, art, music and creativity, motivation and drive, a healthy body that mainly works, and an insight and understanding into my brain.
Again, it's like, it's really important for this, like, there's no good or bad, like we've all done the same thing together, and the feeling of gratitude is a shared one, do you know what I mean? Like, and we express that however we can. There's no like top tier for, like, there's no winner. It's just gratitude is unique to yourself, do you know what I mean? For what and for how you feel it. Got time. Oof, gonna have a tiny little bit. Got time for work. Go on, we'll have one more, I think. No, all right, I'll do mine. I'm grateful for quiet bits, lazy sun through window, grateful for recovery, and all that's come with it. Grateful for Red Eye and yous joining this today. Grateful for expression and being able to forget myself for a bit. For dogs, for my mum, and for Liverpool. So, yeah, thanks everybody for joining and having a go. I hope you've got something out in it, something that you can have a go on in your own time.